Shabbat shalom, everyone. That mic is hot. Yeah, I'm not that interesting. Turn it down a little bit, will you? Shabbat shalom. Great to see everyone. Before we begin, one request, actually two. The first is, would you please raise your hand if you have a cell phone? Okay, now keep your hand up. Keep your hand up. Take your hand and grab your phone. Okay, and take a look at it to make sure it's off. Even if you're 100% sure it's off, please check one more time. We don't want to be thrown off by a cell phone. Yeah, I'm going to check mine. It's not off.
It was not. It was on airplane mode, but you know, that's just not good enough.
I turned mine off and I have an eBay auction going on, so that is the ultimate sacrifice for a Jew. Okay, and next, it's great to see everyone. It's so good to be back, physically back, and I'm so glad you're here. We're glad you're here. We're gonna have a beautiful service tonight. Before we go any further, just take a moment and turn to your right, your left, in front of you, behind you, across the aisle. Meet your neighbor. Wish each other Shabbat Shalom. All right. Now, one more thing I always like to do. Anyone who's visiting from somewhere other than Los Angeles? Do we have people visiting from someplace other than Los Angeles? Wow. I guess nobody could get a visa to come to California. Okay. All Angelinos. All right, we like that. Anyone from the Valley? There we go. Welcome. Welcome to the other side. All right, let us begin. Hine Matov, page 10. Let's all turn to page 24. I want to tell you a little story about this song that we sing to, part of the music that we sing to welcome Shabbat and to kind of change our mindset from, it seems like I can say this every week now, from the insanity of the news this week. I can't think of a better word for it, and Shabbat, which is a respite from all of that worry, anxiety, and violence, and market woes, and baby formula shortages, and these things that I never believed I would see in my lifetime. Guessing I'm not the only one. To Shabbat, to a different way of thinking and seeing the world, to turning inward instead of outward. And there's a beautiful little story about Shalom Aleichem, about welcoming the angels, the messengers of God on Shabbat. And this little story is really about the discipline of spirituality, That spirituality is not a switch you just turn on when you need it. It's called a spiritual practice for a reason. And so the story behind this song, these words of these angels visiting us to turn us inward rather than outward on Shabbat, is that the angels, when they visit each Jewish home, if they find the home and the people within it unprepared for Shabbat, ignoring Shabbat, too busy with what supposedly matters for Shabbat, the angels say, so may it be next week. And if they arrive at the home and see that that home, that family, that person has begun to turn inward, has set the table physically and metaphorically for Shabbat, has decided to pay attention to his or her spiritual life, the angel says, so may it be next week. That our habits define who we are, and that to be a spiritual person is not accidental. It's quite deliberate. And I think Achad Ha'am put it best when he said, more than the Jews have kept Shabbat, Shabbat has kept the Jews. So Shabbat Shalom, Shalom Aleichem, page 24.
Shalom Aleichem, Aleichem HaShalom,
see, we're turning. It's now my great honor to invite our Benot Mitzvah, Lauren and Catherine, to come on up and bring your parents with you if they're here. I think they are. Come on. And we're going to light our candles. The blessing for the lighting of candles on pages 2 and 3. Now, page 20, L'chadodi, and keeping with the theme, which I did not know I would be developing tonight, but apparently am, of turning. L'chadodi is this literal welcome of one of the metaphors for Shabbat is that of a wedding between God and the Jewish people, and I'm going to say more about that a little bit later in our service, because we have a young, soon-to-be married couple with us here this evening. But this welcoming of the Sabbath Queen, the Sabbath Bride, we literally, for the last verse 9, like Jews all over the world tonight, we turn and we face the entrance to the synagogue to welcome Sabbath Bride into our midst, into our hearts, into our families. And it always moves me to know that 24 different times all across the world, like the wave across a stadium, Jews rise and turn during L'chadodi to welcome Shabbat. It's really quite beautiful, quite something. It's a wedding between the Jewish people and God that spreads slowly across the entire world. L'chadodi, page 20. We're going to do verses 1, 2, 5, and 9. And on the 9th verse, we rise and face the back. 1, 2, 5, and 9. L'chadodi, page 20. Let's remain standing. The Baruch Hu, page 28. Well, I don't know if you saw it or not, but this picture of the center of the center of the center of our universe, the black hole from which light cannot escape. What a mind-blowing concept that is. A place from which light cannot escape. It's completely held within. And am I right? 2,000 times larger than our sun? Was that the number? I think that's right. And this captured light, 2,000 times bigger than our sun. We are a tiny speck in the cosmos. And I think the most beautiful thing about spirituality and great religious buildings. I see this when people come into our sanctuary downtown. They always look up and say the same thing. Oh my God. Without even realizing what they're saying, they look up and say, oh my God. And I think the reason we have that feeling within us sometimes is this dichotomous feeling, this duality that we have of feeling both large and uplifted and so very small, all at the same time. And that's the feeling I had when I saw that picture. That's the feeling I have when I stand beneath the sky in Joshua Tree at night and look at the billions of stars. And our ancestors felt this far more frequently than we do because they lived and slept beneath the stars. There was no such thing as light pollution. And so they were able to live in a state of awe and in a state of smallness and greatness much more frequently and easily than we are. And they wrote this prayer for us. Ma'ariv Aravim, page 30.
And this is a little bit of a piece, so I'll invite you if you want to sit, and we'll come stand back up, Brother Shema. I know it's a lot of up and down, but give yourselves a rest.
Ma'ariv Aravim.
Shabbat.
Let's read the English together on page 30. Please join me. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, who speaks the evening into being, skillfully opens the gates, thoughtfully alters the time and changes the seasons, and arranges the stars in their heavenly courses according to plan. You are creator of day and night, rolling light away from darkness and darkness from light, transforming day into night and distinguishing one from the other. Adonai Tzevaot is your name. Ever-living God, may you reign continually over us into eternity. Blessed are you, Adonai, who brings on the evening.
Baruch atah Adonai, Amari Varavim.
Now we rise for the Shema, page 34.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Avad.
Please be seated. Now I want to call our Benot Mitzvah forward to lead us in the Ve'ahavta. You'll find on page 36. Adonai Elohechem, Asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim, Lihiyot lachem le'Elohim. Adonai Elohechem. Now let's read the English together, okay? Page 30. Let's go with 37. Ready? Here we go. Love your God with every heartbeat, with every breath, with every conscious act. Keep in mind the words I command you today. Teach them to your children. Talk about them at work. Whether you are tired or you are rested, let them guide the work of your hands. Keep them in the forefront of your vision. Do not leave them at the doorway of your house or outside your gate. They are reminders to do all of my mitzvot so that you can be holy for God. I am Adonai, your God. I led you out of Egypt to become your God. I am Adonai, your God. Thank you both. Micha Mocha, which you'll find on page 40. This is our freedom song. This is the song according to Torah that our ancestors sang when they successfully crossed the sea, escaping bondage into freedom. Uh, I don't think what I'm about to say is even remotely political. I really don't, but most of you've known me a long time, and I don't really enter into that domain because a 50% approval rating might be okay for a president. It's really lousy for a rabbi. And whatever I might say politically would alienate 50% of the congregation, because this is a synagogue with people all across the spectrum, and I've always said it's called a sanctuary for a reason. It's a place for everyone to turn inward, not so much outward. But I do want to say something about the concept of religious freedom in this country and reproductive rights. You might not think this has anything to do with the Misha, but I think it really does. The Misha Mocha represents half or one type of freedom, freedom from slavery. And we're in this period now of counting days between Pesach, Passover, and Shavuot. Passover, freedom from slavery. Shavuot commemorates the day we accepted Torah, freedom to. So there are two types of freedom, freedom from and freedom to. Freedom from slavery enables us to use our freedom to, for example, free others who are oppressed. So there's a duality to freedom. And this is also true when it comes to the First Amendment. It is true that it gives every one of us in the room freedom of religion. But it is equally true that it gives us freedom from religion. There's a duality to the American concept of freedom as well, not just the Jewish concept. This duality that freedom of and freedom from are both important aspects of what it means to live in a free society. That the wall that separates church and state is the wall that protects both of those types of freedom. Freedom of religion and freedom from religion. And with that in mind, we sing the Misha Mocha. Page 40. Shamru, page 44.
I'd like to invite both of our Binot Mitzvah to come on all the way up to the bima this time. I'm going to share this microphone and we'll get the other one for you. And we're going to stand in front of the ark. Come all the way.
Everybody,
all the way
please
up.
rise for the Amidah, page 46.
Mechayel hakol berachamim rabim, so ben noflim
continue now with the rest of the Amida silently, pages 52 through 62. So beautiful. Thank you. You should quit your day job. Right? Yeah. she's a voice coach, so it was so beautiful. Plenty of room on the bima anytime. Would you introduce her, please?
Delight to introduce my dear friend and voice teacher, Sarah Lieb. She might have room in her studio.
Also, Susan, Hope, and Leo, our musicians tonight, thank you for your beautiful music. It's all about this, turning inward, and you help us all do that. Page 253 in the middle of the page is the Misha Bera prayer. Most of you who are here often know that this is a prayer we recite on behalf of people we love who are ill, who are suffering. Maybe physically, maybe emotionally, maybe both. But in any case, well, I'll just tell you, I remember the first time, this was early in the diagnosis of my father's Alzheimer's, and I first mentioned it in public, and a friend of mine who belongs to a Southern Baptist church, he read about it, and then he called me the next day, and he said, I said a prayer for your dad in church, and I somehow felt cared for. And so when we pray for other people and they know we're praying for them, it helps them, and it helps us, whatever the words of our prayer may be, and to whatever source, power, force it may, it helps. And this is our healing prayer. It's not a curing prayer. If prayer could cure, the world would be a very different place. But it can heal. It can help us to make peace with what can't be cured. And it's in the middle of page 253. And before we sing the Misha Berach, I want to ask if anyone here has someone on whose behalf you'd like us to sing it tonight, to just stand and I'll point to you and you can mention the name or the names. And I'm going to mention first the names of Bonnie Chiswick, Charles Schwartz, Marcy Siegel, and Alan Cerroti. Do a little experiment now. It's actually a very easy question I'm going to ask you. We all know the answer to this question, but each person's answer might be different. And we have 3 generations here tonight, so that's going to be interesting too, to see if these answers change within generations. It's a simple question, and I'll explain why I'm asking this question later. And the question is just this: What makes you happy? What do you love? What brings you joy? Anybody? Melanie, wait.
I don't like this answer. Singing makes me happy. And when I feel sad, I sing. The music, it just brings me to a high level. It really goes right to my soul.
Music. Singing and music make you happy. Yeah.
The thing is, now that we've been having services at home, also online, I can sing as loud as I want.
For me, it's the sunrise and the sunset, and I like to go to the ocean.
The sunrise, the sunset, and the ocean. Something that happens every day, right? Okay, who else? Who else? What makes you happy?
Running 10 miles and getting closer to nature.
Wow. I'm with you for half of that.
Laughing with friends and family.
Laughter with friends and family. Yeah. Beautiful. Who else has one? Good news. Yeah. Yeah. What's your most recent piece of good news? Yeah. Yeah, a new baby formula announced today. Yes.
Eating?
Eat what specifically? Like, if you were going to Mars and you could take one food with you, what would it be?
You know, I'm not one for favorites. If it's good, I love it.
Okay. All right. Personally, Haagen-Dazs coffee ice cream with hot fudge. If you put a gun to my head and I had to choose. Oh, you're savory. Okay. All right.
Cooking for them I love.
Cooking for people you love. Baking, cooking, both? Mostly cooking. Yeah. What's like your best dish? Like, you know, if Kevin Costner was coming for dinner, like what would you make?
Jerk chicken.
Jerk chicken. Okay. All right, wait. I'm coming over here. What makes you happy?
Video games and sports.
Yeah, sports and video games. I'm with you.
Creativity and the mind of man, what they can capable of doing.
Culture, creativity, yeah, human accomplishment, right? We are an amazing species, aren't we? We really are. Oh, here we have some experts on happiness here. Okay. Yes.
Dogs wearing hats.
Dogs. Did you say dogs wearing cats or hats? Hats. Okay, I just wanted to be sure, because that wouldn't be so good for the cat, right? Okay. All right. And
Presents, video games, and also art.
presents, video games, and art. What kind of art?
Like drawing and coloring.
Drawing and coloring. Oh, the best. Remember that big box of crayons with the sharpener in the back? Oh my God, that was like, oh boy, yeah, Faith.
Watching my daughter and my husband interact and laugh until they cry.
Oh, yeah, watching your husband and your daughter just having fun, laughing. Yeah, beautiful. For me, it was, our kids are 3 years apart, and for me it was when they were, just watching them play together when they were little was just the most incredible thing. It was one of those cases where two was so much more than twice the fun of one. Einstein was right. It's all relative somehow. Okay, all right, future rabbi is going to tell us now. Let's hear it.
Soccer and video games. Video games.
Soccer and video games. We have a theme.
Everything. Everything.
Everything. That's awesome. Okay, yes.
Video game.
Video games. Do you play video games with each other? Yeah? Oh, Mario. Okay. Minecraft. I don't know what that is, but it sounds scary. Minecraft. Now, why did I ask this question? I asked this question because we're in the middle of a time of the Jewish year when we literally are commanded to count each day. We count every day between the second day of Passover and Shavuot, 7 weeks, 49 days. It's called Sfirat HaOmer, the counting of the Omer. And the Omer was a wheat offering that was made during this time of year, spring wheat. And we're literally commanded to count every day. And I wanted to read you a little story now. It's a famous story. And I need to explain a part of it to anyone here who is probably under the age of, 40. And that is, it's about a ham radio operator. Now, a ham radio, for those of you who are young, had nothing to do with ham, or I probably wouldn't read the story. A ham radio was the first way that regular people, before the internet, before WhatsApp, before Skype, before Zoom, before cell phones. I mean, we're going way back here. This was the very first way that regular people could talk to other people all over the world. It was this big radio with a big antenna. It was called a ham radio, and you would turn your ham radio on, and you never knew who else somewhere in the world was also on their ham radio at that time, on the same, what was called a frequency, and you could talk to each other even though you'd never met before. Like if Kerith was in, New Zealand, and I was in Minneapolis, and we were both on our ham radios, we could meet each other by radio and talk to each other. And this was the craziest, most magical thing ever. So this is a story about that. This was written by a ham radio operator. A few weeks ago, I was shuffling toward the basement shack with a steaming cup of coffee, where I sat down and turned the dial up on my ham radio. I came across an older-sounding fellow with a tremendous signal and a golden voice. He was telling whoever he was talking with about something related to 1,000 marbles. "Well, Tom," the golden-voiced man said, "sure sounds like you're busy with your job. I'm sure they pay you well, but it's a shame you have to be away from your family so much. Hard to believe a fella has to work 60 or 70 hours a week. Too bad you missed your daughter's dance recital." "Let me tell you something, Tom," the golden voice continued. "It's something that has helped me keep a good perspective on my priorities. I sat down one day and did a little arithmetic. The average person lives about 75 years, some more, some less, but on average, let's say 75 years. Now then, I multiplied 75 times 52, and I came up with 3,900, which is the number of Saturdays that the average person has in their entire lifetime. Now stick with me, Tom," the man said. "I'm getting to the important part. It took me until I was 55 years old to think about this in any detail. And by that time, I had lived through 2,800 Saturdays. I got to thinking that if I lived to be 75, I had only about 1,000 of them left to enjoy. So I went to a toy store, and I bought every single marble they had. I ended up having to visit 3 toy stores to round up 1,000 marbles. I took them home, and I put them inside of a large, clear plastic jar right here in the shack next to my radio gear. Every Saturday since then, I have taken 1 marble out and thrown it away. I found that by watching the marbles diminish, I focused more on the really important things in life. There's nothing like watching your time here on earth run out to help you get your priorities straight. Now let me tell you one more thing before I sign off and take my lovely wife out for breakfast. This morning, I took the very last marble out of the container. I figure if I make it until next Saturday, then I've been given a little extra time. It's nice to meet you, Tom. Hope you spend more time with your family. This is K9NZQ. Over and out. So this is the time of year when we literally count our days. And what is it that fills our days with real happiness and real joy? some jerk chicken, a song, cooking for our friends, a game. These are the things that really matter. And so this is the time of year when we count every day so that we commit ourselves to making every day count. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. And now the Cantor is going to chant for us the counting of the Omer. Today is the 28th day of the counting of the 49 days of the Omer.
After I pull myself together here, Rabbi, that was very powerful words. So you can join me on page 278 of our prayer book where we have these words. And let's read together the English where it says, I am ready. Let's get ready to fulfill this mitzvah together. I am ready to fulfill the mitzvah of counting the Omer. I was ready. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al shirat haomer hayom shemona v'esrim yom shehem arba'a shavuot la'omer.
Today is the 28th day, which is of the 4th week, and the 28th day of the Omer. We are counting our days to make our days count. Now, you might remember that earlier I said we had a young couple here, soon to be beneath the chuppah together. And so it is my distinct honor to invite forward Bren and Stephen. If you would please, let's do this down there because we're going to have just a little fun today. Come on down here with me and stand right here because I want you to hear some wisdom from our village. Okay? So, how many of us here are or have been married? Okay, so if your hand is up, you are entitled to answer this question. You don't have to answer it, you're entitled to answer it. In 2 words, no more than 2 words, what is your best advice for this soon-to-be married couple? 2 words. You're right. Always date each other, you mean? Yeah, I just want to be sure. It's California. Yes. Forever faithful. Who else has just 2 words? Yeah, Joy. Communicate. Same team. Ooh, that's a good one. Yeah. Oh, overlook. Yeah. I asked this question once with 3 words, and someone said, get over it. Respect differences. Respect differences. Apologize sincerely. Apologize sincerely. It's so good. I have one for you. Foot rubs. Misha Berach Avotenu v'imotenu, Avraham, Yitzchak v'Yaakov, Sarah, Rivka, Rachel v'Leah, Hu yavarech hachatan v'hakala. May God, who blessed our ancestors, bless you, Bryn and Stephen, who are soon to enter into the holy covenant of marriage. As you stand here this evening, so may you always stand side by side, strengthening and sanctifying your love for each other. May you face the future with faith in each other. May you grow to know the deepest meaning of love is to share life's trials as well as life's joys. May you understand that your union must be founded upon righteousness and truth, on kindness and mercy, on patience and mutual forbearance. May you establish a home, loyalty and love, a place where friends and family grow in health and happiness and in the practice of deeds of kindness. May your marriage be sealed with these words of the ancient prophet, and I will betroth you unto me forever, and I will betroth you unto me in righteousness and in justice and in loving kindness and in compassion, and I will betroth you to me in faithfulness. Amen. Awesome. Now, can we get a Siman Tov and Mazel Tov?
Siman Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Siman Tov, Siman Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Siman Tov, Siman Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Siman Tov.
Yes, my Empress works pretty well too, Stephen, just saying. Yeah, yeah. People say, yes, dear. No, no. Yes, my Empress. You got that? Yeah, okay. My wife, Betsy, she pretends she doesn't like it, but she really likes it. Yeah, yeah. Anyway, Mazel Tov. I'll see you under the chuppah, okay? Mazel Tov. Congratulations, by the way, to our Benot Mitzvah. We're very proud of you guys. Well done, beautifully done. And your parents made it through too without too much nervousness, so that's really the special part of all of this. You know, the only announcement I can really make, there's so much going on at the temple now. Just the one thing I can say is please take your emails seriously. Please look at the website. Please read your emails. There's so much going on, and there's something for everyone. So please, you know, come to something, and I promise you, you won't be disappointed. People always say such a big temple, and I say, not if you show up. It's really true. If it's the gym you join and you never work out there, yeah, okay, you know. But just show up, and you'll be amazed at what a little temple this is, what a little village we create for each other. So, and thank you for being here tonight. Anything I forgot to add? Nope. Because sometimes I'll get an email from Kerith afterwards, like, hey, what about this? I'm good.
Really?
Yeah.
I'll work on that.
No, I appreciate it. I forget stuff, at my young age. Okay, so page 284, we rise now for the Aleinu.
Aleinu לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו
addition to turning inward, we've been talking a lot tonight about duality, about this tension that exists that sustains us and also troubles us. And we're about to engage in another duality, which is the duality of memory. I'm guilty of this too. Rabbis are full of platitudes about memory. May his memory be a blessing. You'll always have her in your memories, all of which is true. Memory is very beautiful. But it's also true that it really hurts sometimes. It's both. It's the bitter and the sweet. And that is particularly true when we remember people we love who have died. And so we're going to enter into that space now of the bittersweetness of memory and love and loss. I'll be reading first the names of loved ones of our congregation who have died during this Shloshim, this past 30 days, followed by the names of those whose yortzites, the anniversary of whose deaths, were commemorated during this past week. Those of us who are here for Shloshim or yortzeit, I invite you now to please stand, and then I'll read all of the names, and then the rest of us will rise with you and will join with you in the Kaddish, which we will all find on page 294. So we begin now with the names of those who have died during this past 30 days. David Burstein, Edward Cohen, Joseph Dannon, Ashley Jaffe, Linda Leisner, and Yusef Nasser Soleimani. We also call to mind those whose yortzites, the anniversary of whose deaths, were commemorated during this past week. James Leo Barbanel, Grace Barkin, Evelyn Becker, William Barrelson, Lester Burkow, Rose Blatt, Sarah Buck, Frank Kesselman, Lloyd Coatzen, Benjamin Danziger, Burton Allen Eisenberg, Edith Falk, Anella Feldstein, Rabbi Morley Feinstein, Susan Pastor Fishman, Alvin Friedman, Jacqueline Furman, Manuel Green, Tony Greenberg, Jules Green, Marvin Gussman, Ben Habibi, John Held, Warner Heineman, Magda Hoffman, Alvin Honoroff, Itamar Ilya, Ike Jarris, Alberta Shield Kalish, Theodore Kapnick Jr., Ruth Karp, Jesse Katz, Stanley Kirshner, Milton Krell, Jack Kravoy, Lillian Kuczynski, Harold Lederer, Eric Lesson, Leonard Lewis, Milton Liebhaber, Philip Mahn, Harry Mankoff, Kitty Maslov, Sam Miner, Bernard Mogul, Janice Morgan, Jack Morris, Alan Moskowitz, Murray Edward Moss, Dennis Munjak, Philip Nalabotsky, Stella Neyberger, Paul Orland, Saul Ornstein, Pauline Pizer, Leah Posel, Toby Price, Gertrude Reed, Rose Reiser, Stephen Rettinger, Albert Riskin, Larry Rosenblum, Helen Rowe, Joseph Rudin, Leonid Rudyak, Robert Schlossberg, David Schneider, Meyer Schwartz, Caroline Schwartz, Stephen Shapiro, Pamela Schulman, Robert Siegel, Norma Joy Siegel, Morris Stone, William Troy, Sam Tucker, Tom Wallach, Mark Weissman, and Leah Wurzer. Are there any other names to add to Kaddish this evening? We also call to mind those we do not know, but to whom we are deeply grateful, those who have died defending the United States of America and the State of Israel, the innocent victims of senseless war and violence, tragedy all over the world, and everyone who has no one to say Kaddish for them. We take them all as our own this evening. Do you have a name to add to Kaddish, please? Let's rise now on page 294. Join together in words of Kaddish. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah be'alma divrach hirutei v'amlich malchutei v'chayechon v'yomechon v'chayei dechol beit Yisrael ba'gala u'vizman kari v'imaru Yehi Shemei Rabbah Mevorach Leolam U'almei Almaya Yitbarach V'yishtabach V'yitpa'ar V'yitromam V'yitnaseh Vitadar, vitale, vitalal, shemei, kutsha, brichu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushvechata v'nechemata, da'amiran ba'alma, v'imaru, yehe shalama rabba min shemaya, v'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imaru, ose shalom bimromav, uyase shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imaru. Amen.
עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל.
All right, and now, first of all, Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom.
And we're going to do Kiddush and Motzi, and also, there's also juice and challah back there on that table. And carbs don't count on Shabbos. This is a problem.
Oh, I did not notice that. Oh my goodness. Yeah, we want to make sure these have some sweetness inside of there. Oh, thank you, Rabbi. I didn't think to look inside of the Kiddush cups.
One-man temple tonight. Okay.
Thank you. All right, here we go. Okay. All right, Kiddush on page 5.
Page 5. It's the long one, and there's only one way to learn it, which is to follow with the words, okay? Because otherwise you're going to fake it like most Jews, and you don't need to do that. Don't be shy. Use the words. It's the only way to learn. Page 5.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai then I believe there are challah underneath. Okay. I didn't look under there either. And Lauren, you can take a hold of that challah there. Okay. You ready? Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen.
1, 2, 3, go.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.